have to cast it, even though I'm also Terran, so I'm gonna experience the pain. Makes me scared. You got, professionals here. And not just any professionals. On the bottom right, known for his cheese, known for his ingenuity. He is the Blue Protoss MaxPax. Of the MaxPax fame. The one for Cannon Rush. Interesting pylon placement. Top left, getting Cannon Rush. It is the Red Terran, Liquid Clem. A very good player. Having, certainly usually had to get to a professional place, you'd have to go through the whole ladder ordeal that everyone else has had to do. Cannon rushing, 2-raxes, stupid, you know, stuff that doesn't make any sense. All the pros had to go through that as well. But as much as we like to make fun of cannon rushes, and this one seems to be doing a good enough job. As much as we like to make fun of cannon rushes, there actually is some skill to it. And Parting is Cannon Rush, or MaxPax is Cannon Rush, or Turkey Dino's Cannon Rush, or what have you, is going to be a little bit scarier, a little bit more, and just also kind of unexpected, you know? Even the professionals kind of forget that this can happen and go, oh shit, yeah, what do I do against this again? And they also have to worry about all the problems that come with people who really study cannon rushing. Like good SimCity and proper control and all that type of stuff. When MaxPax got this cannon up, it already felt not great. Got injured and the bunker did finish, so it can stop the cannons from fully denying his mining, but it's going to be difficult to stop the cannons coming on from the right side, as the Marines popping out one at a time aren't quite going to cut it. Actually, Clem's going to entirely evacuate the base. He does have an exit path, or does he? Oh my god, MaxPax with the block successfully kills 4 more SCVs than he really should have. Oh, couldn't block it entirely. That's what the rocks are for. Literally what the rocks are for. Is to stop from the pylon or a bunker block that can happen. But still made a SimCity tower defense maze. Guys, he plays too much arcade, right? And gets 5 more SCVs than he should have. Very nicely done. Now it still leaves 10 workers and a mule, since you're not really about scans yet. But the Marines are now stuck. Should they walk down, they could be blocked out in the same fashion the SCVs were. Even if they aren't, they're going to lose at least 1, if not 2 of their lives with the cannon. Fortunately, this Marine does save the day. Also, I think the SCV pull would have been a little too good. There wasn't really any abusive spot that probe could find. And MaxPax had already invested into 300 minerals of gateways. So it's not like he could have just placed down 5 pylons and 3 cannons. So, he's going to be able to get a base up in the natural. Never give up, never surrender. The MaxPax is on his way to a decent mid-game PvP. He's getting his gateways, he's getting his Cybernetic core, no doubt, for Warp Gate. And Clem is stuck on 1 base. Only just now finishing that factory. This is a bit awkward, though. Marines actually come down and... Ooh, none of the Marines died. Okay. This is awkward. See, if he has gateways, and he starts a warp gate, which... I mean, he probably chronos warp gate, if this isn't happening. Yeah, that's great for MaxPax, but he's going to lose the gateway. A wasted chrono as he realizes it's not going to work out. Cancels the stalker. He's going to let the stalker pop out, and he can always micro to the high ground. But he wants a stalker because that is going to be extremely microable against the Marines. But Clem jumping on top of the gateways, I'm not sure MaxPax is anticipating that. He probably thought that Clem was going to be too scared. Or at least just barely scared enough to pop out 2 stalkers, which would have been a pretty big difference. Okay, the stalker finally goes down. Handful of more Marines went down, and 3 of them now very, very injured. But, oh, this last stalker wants to get all those kills. Oh my god, it pops out! It pops out! The gateway is targeted down, but the 3 Marines, 1 shot, do go down as well. Clem has built a bunker. He's got a Cyclone on the way. In fact, I think a Hellion also came across the map. I could have sworn I saw a Hellion and then it died. So I don't know. I actually just entirely missed that. I don't know what happened there, but Hellion did not do anything. Apparently. That's the TLDR there. Didn't do anything. Cyclone's going to be really helpful. Going to be able to finally clean up all these cannons. Got to be a little bit careful, though, because Clem doesn't know what else is happening. So if the Cyclone is alone, and there's actually 2 Oracles, the 2 Oracles will kill the Cyclone. If it's a Phoenix play, then, yeah, Phoenixes could also kill the Cyclone. So it obviously wants to clean everything up and get control over his side of the map, but it's a little bit vulnerable. Clem does know about the Stargate, but yeah, it's just like, how much are they insisting on it? Here's the other problem. If the units are over to the left side, what's over to the right side? Fortunately for Clem, that Cyclone popping out was perfectly timed. What? How? How did this not die? At least the Stalker died. Waste of a recall there. Oracle now so injured. What can it really do? Gonna go for a stasis trap and it won't be killed. Ooh, it's gonna be effective. I was gonna say it won't be killed fast enough to stop this, but a Marine being microed against is also pretty good. Stasis trap not as effective as MaxPax was hoping for, and now things looking a little bit grim. 2, 3 shield batteries trying to help out. Single Stalker and just a literal couple of Phoenix against Clem's also fairly small but more powerful push. He's got 2 Cyclones and a Medevac, and it's already pretty good. I mentioned a handful of Marines. Scan used to try and make sure that the Phoenixes actually die. Once again, those air units barely surviving. One last Phoenix pops out. It's going to go for the lift, and this is what Phoenixes are supposed to be good against. The Marines can try to cover them, but now that they're being tailed by Stalkers and Probes who are being pushed away from their buddies, can't help those Cyclones whatsoever. It is at the loss of 7 Probes, and oh my god, a tank came forward to help out as well. Did not expect that. But yeah, the Marines could not cover the Cyclones, and that's a pretty big loss. But the Viking actually on the ground might be a bit better. Well, I guess it's going to be lifted, so it's like, this side or the other. Helps out against the Phoenix, while the tank really takes care of the ground army. But either way, I guess, is the thing. Either way, the Viking in the air is helpful, or the Viking on the ground would also be helpful. Clem expands to the right. Doesn't clean up the entire cannon rush, and instead just expands to the right. Okay. Couple more probes go down. Gets the last shot in that Stalker as well. Last shot in that probe, too, before the shield battery finished. So 6 probes going down in total, as well as another Stalker. This is a very odd game, but it feels like Clem... I mean, okay, if you take away the whole Oracle not dying and the Phoenix not dying, it still feels like Clem is getting some of the better ends of these deals. You know, getting some good micro ability with his units. And we all know what Clem can do with micro. Feels like he would still be in control in a normal game, but this is very much so not a normal game. So it's like, okay. I feel good for Clem. But apparently this game is look away Terran players, so I'm just waiting for something more devastating to happen. Stalker on the high ground. I mean, sure, why not, right? Delays a bit of mining. Would die to the Viking. Tank's gonna come over and help. Tank over here is gonna be picked off. Maybe. There's nothing else protecting it. 3 Vikings, still pretty scary. Biggest thing about Vikings is that they have range. They're not as microable, and they're not as tanky as a Corruptor, right? But what they got is range compared to the other races' air units. So, that was a little bit scary. Combat Shields finishes up first and foremost. That usually denotes a push, but in a weird game like this, it could actually just be like, I think this is going to help me survive, more than getting into stim. It is just one of those weird games. Combat Shields is a faster upgrade that also doesn't injure yourself. Literally gives more health points as opposed to taking away health points, so... When you're not going to be building any medevacs, and he still isn't, 4 Vikings, has a starport, still not producing a medevac, having those combat shields can be a lot better. 4 cannons still around. I mean, yeah, that Stalker is still being a dick. The tank didn't take care of it. There was no high ground vision. And other things were happening, so... Here comes the push I was talking about. Can rally very quickly as well in submarine. 4 tanks, a handful of SCVs, a lot of marines. And this does not look like a very big Protoss army, but a lot of shield batteries. Okay, he's going to cancel them, realizing, okay, it's too far forward. Chrono on the Colossus, that could really help. That's where the combat shields also really come into play, is specifically against something like one single Colossus. Those marines are actually going to live through a couple more beams. Well, maybe not a couple more, but one more beam, let's say that. That's a lot of Phoenix. Vikings get a lot of shots in, but they're just not killing them fast enough, especially since they would love to be killing them before the tanks actually die. Alright, the tanks survive, and they get all the shots off as well, so... okay. That looked good when all the tanks were in the air, but looks much worse now the tanks are back on the ground. They were being repaired. The Vikings weren't dying very quickly, even though they also weren't killing the Phoenixes very quickly. But at the end of the day, everything settles. There's so much more left over for the Terran. 9 SVs have gone down to the Stalker harassing, but Clem has another base mining, so it's still pretty good mining. MaxPax is just depending on these Phoenix and one more Colossus. Tank goes down. These Phoenix, I mean, they got a lot of micro potential, alright? Like, that's what you gotta give them credit for. They've been doing work. Now 10 SCVs go down, finally takes care of that Stalker. But Clem's only down 3 workers and is using mules. Yeah, why not? You only have to scan in the situation. Still building Vikings, not taking any time to swap over to Reactor, not getting into Stim. I mean, this is certainly an all-in. 3 bunkers, 3 tanks. I mean, you think it'd be an all-in that actually would work. He has had to stop reinforcing, so that might be a little bit awkward. MaxPax goes for the bus. He's got a Colossus being repaired by a shield battery, so he's getting a lot of shots in. The tanks are once again being taken out of the equation, and this time they are actually dying. Despite Clem trying to focus fire down the Phoenix that were lifting his tanks, he just did not have quite enough firepower. If this army was here just a bit sooner, that probably is not at all favorable for MaxPax. As it is, it's not favorable enough for a Protoss, but it got a little bit closer thanks to the reinforcements being delayed by that Stalker on the high ground. And now we have two Colossus now. MaxPax is also able to invest into the range for the Colossus as well as charge, and that charge should be very, very helpful. And we can never forget that Clem is still pretty all-in. I mean, once again, not getting Stim, not getting Medivacs, actually adding on another production facility. And not using the bunkers. Colossus are getting a lot of shots, killing those frontline Marines. Clem is once again totally dedicating to the reinforcement lines, so MaxPax, if he could, maybe, you know, go for another Stalker on the high ground. It's difficult, though. Very difficult. Oh, the Colossus is stalled out. That's also all the resources just being sucked into that right now. But it is being repowered as fast as possible. Shield battery also has to be repowered. MaxPax goes for a secret hidden base to the bottom left. Oh, no. What is this game going to look like? I'd actually be more worried about the charge lot reinforcements coming from this left base than in general having another base that Clem doesn't worry about. 2 Stalkers are being warped in. Like I was saying, it's probably a good move. That one Stalker not only got 10 SCVs, but delayed those reinforcements. Like, it has really done very, very well. And it's so simple, too. It's disgusting. Then you get disposable for the 12-month resub. Missile turret being done, actually kind of helpful. Those Phoenixes have been a big problem, and occasionally you see the missile turret also get shots off on the Colossus. That Marauder is doing the disco dance. Just a single Marauder, too. Like, maybe even a misclick? Like, every other piece of minerals that he could get, Clem is investing into Marines in the tank. Finally getting a single medevac. 3 Colossus now with range. With 3 Colossus, you are burning through those Marines, even with combat shields, pretty quickly. And you're even burning through the bunkers and the tanks. You know, like 1 Colossus, laughable. 2 Colossus, okay. 3 Colossus, all firing on even an armored unit, high health unit. Like, okay, and I actually, I'm talking about a lot of damage, actually. I do like the idea of the Disruptor, but that is once again going to be delayed. Clem is inching forward very, very slowly, but maybe too slowly. For MaxPax to still have 2 bases mining this entire time, never had to pull the probes away. His Robo produced a lot longer than he would hope, finally goes down, and he was able to sneak off a 400 mineral nexus to the left side. Like, that's That's not what Clem would want. Clem would have wanted to already have been threatening the Nexus like a minute and a half ago, so that it's dead right now. And the gases weren't mining the entire time, and all that good stuff, right? So MaxPax, by just barely holding on, not necessarily holding on to the Nexus, but holding on to, like, this area here, has actually bought himself a lot of time. So much time that Nexus is even getting some gateways added onto it. Looks like we have a bit of harassment, but Clem is good to go. He's finally going for Stim. He added one single medevac, but he is running low on that income in the quote-unquote main base. I don't even know what to call it right now. Nexus finally goes down. Clem's probably thinking, okay, you don't have any mining. You know, like, your main's gotta be out of minerals, down to, yeah, literally just 2 mineral pouches. Your natural's obviously not mining anymore, like, it's gotta be. Ooh, but that, ooh, MaxPax! Oh, whoa, 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 whoa! He just revealed to Clem that he has a base. That scan saw the recall didn't go to the main. I mean, I don't think Clem is actually that surprised there's a base somewhere else, because of course there would be, right? But, a bit of a reveal there. Maybe an unnecessary reveal. Or maybe necessary. I mean, MaxPax did have to get out of the hell out of Dodge. And the main base might not have been the better place to go for it. He was hoping to go for the backstab. Try and catch Clem with a couple tanks on siege with his bio army out of place. Instead, kind of inadvertently starts a base race. But now that it's happening, he's going for it. It's like, okay, this is how it's gonna go. Alright then, bring everything over to Clem's side of the base. Side of the map. His base has a lot of SimCity working for it. Oh my god, look what Clem has done here. Did Clem anticipate? I guess he anticipated this. I guess he realized this is how it was going to go down. The army had only so many options. This SCV was looking around for the hidden base. Finds not just a hidden base that is very well, like, very good mining. A lot of probes went over there. But also Archons, which doesn't feel that great. Now, they probably don't have Storm, but what if they did? You know, that's kind of terrifying. And in general, the addition of Archons, they're going to be able to tank a lot of the shots. Anytime they actually get a shot on the army of Clem is going to be really painful. These Marines will die pretty quickly. There's so much splash. Archons, Disruptor, Colossus, tanks taken out of the equation by the Phoenix, who just seemingly never died in this game. Disruptor does not get any good hits, but the 3 Colossus plus the Archons protecting them will probably be enough, as Clem gets cleaned up on this side of the map. What is happening back at home? He managed to save his orbital. So he has 2 orbitals, a lot of mules. He knows his opponent is only on 1 base, because SCV did some very thorough scouting, so there's that. You definitely don't tap out, but that was... I mean, it wasn't the most expensive army. It was mostly Marines, right? It still took him a long time to make that army. And you know that even though Marines can produce fast and cheap, you haven't taken down their big ticket items. Their big Colossus beams, their big Archon splash damage. I don't know what their attack is called. And that's going to be too much for Marines to handle. As seen here, the Archons do die, leaving only the Colossus and a single High Templar that, you know, nowadays has some DPS, but... I don't know about this. I don't know about this. The SCV's going for the mass repair, only have so many minerals to work with, plus they're just dying to 3 Colossus. The SCVs go down, the tank goes down, and Clem goes down as well. GG. GG. That was a very silly game. Very silly. Protoss. Maybe a little bit. A cannon rush into base race? Question mark, kind of, a little bit.